Hey everyone, it's Dee. If you know anything about me, you know that from 2009 to 2000, I can't say for sure, I was obsessed with K-pop. It was the only thing that brought me joy. The idol industry is a lot, but say what you will about it. It is very attractive for a young teen. Just a lot of like pretty people singing, dancing in some very interesting clothes. I was thinking about how fashion has changed between now and then, and it's quite something. So I wanted to take a look into kind of the early years. I think I'm only going to do the first 2 years that I was personally invested in K-pop. If I did the last 10 years, this video would be hours long. So editing tea here. As usual, I was not extremely concise in talking about this stuff. Trips down memory lane and all that. So I will pop in now and again to give some clarity to what I'm talking about because honestly, I go off on tangents. It's a lot. Okay, let's start in 2009. We can start with the one, the only, G. The reason why we have to look at G is because of the colorful skinny jeans. This was the reason why I got into K-pop. I was scrolling through a forum talking about like Japanese fashion, and then someone was like, "Oh, let's talk about Korean fashion on this specific forum." We're not going to get into that. But the colorful skinny jeans. I think part of the reason why this did so well is because each girl had their own, I don't want to say color because that's kind of simplifying it. I think it was an easy way to differentiate each girl without putting too much emphasis on one or another girl. K-pop is very much about the uniform. I feel like a lot of the most iconic bands have some kind of uniform. And they didn't just do the colorful. I feel like they didn't perform much in the colorful skinny jeans. They just did it in like the shorts or the white skinny jeans. These have different colored belts and they have different colored shirts. The whole thing about 2009 fashion as well is that I feel like it's very simple compared to most other eras of K-pop. I'm also going to mostly just focus on women because I don't feel like getting into male groups. It's not my thing. I can't do it right now. Definitely plainer as far as like makeup is concerned. But let's get into after school. If you don't know after school and their first kind of debut concept, it was Korea's Pussycat Dolls. So it was certainly something, but this is a lot of, how do I put it? Certainly hip hop and maybe chola inspired things. The gold chains, the cropped sweaters, and oh my, I can see how they were like, oh, Pussycat Dolls, because yeah, there she is. When did this music video come out? 2009. Okay, well, same era. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? You can definitely see it in this that Nicole is wearing. This editing is a lot. The general jewelry, streetwear kind of stuff. This editing is really bad. But yes, definitely a lot of streetwear inspired stuff, 2000s layering. Those socks. But I will say that like after school in this era had a lot more like body showing stuff than a lot of other girl groups, a lot more like provocative clothing. I don't think that girl groups were allowed to be that kind of provocative for a while after that. I want to say like 2012. A lot of band dances, but also the skin showing was probably to go with their more like urban styling, which is, the shorts that they're wearing in this stage performance, I'm not going to show it to you because it's flashing, but they're very short. When they turn around, you can see a little bit of butt cheek, but that's not normal for K-pop in 2009. So I guess, they broke the mold in that way. Certainly broke the mold. We will say that. Genie came out this year. We're not going to show the Genie music video because I do remember that it's entirely flashing. However, all navy uniforms, navy-inspired uniforms, I should say. Blazers, they have the little whatevers. This is a lot more concept-y, a lot more, I don't want to say costumey. It was a lot less in the realm of fashion and a lot more in the realm of we're wearing this to perform a song. I'm Genie for you, boy. What a song this is. Also this incredible. But yes, even this, I would say in comparison to like Girls' Generation's later stage costumes is a lot more plain. That's quite something to say about a navy uniform, a literal navy uniform, but like I'd say there's a lot less details, a lot less frills, very uniform. And I think there's something to say about K-pop groups that like have stage costumes to fit a concept. Like Kara's Mister had these pants. They were obviously made for the stage. It was someone who got a whole bunch of pants. They don't even look like sweatpants. They're made of cotton broadcloth. And it was like suspenders, but they're not really suspenders because they're sewn onto the pants, I think. Very DIY, which is interesting. But these pants were obviously made for the concept because of the dance. You can't have a girl group just showing butt crack. You gotta make some suspenders that give them a little bit of modesty. Also for Kara, just going back to that uniformity, they're all wearing the same shirts each time in between performances. I don't think they reuse the shirts, but maybe. So before we get into the more loud fashion of the time, I think this is a good transition. It's Brown Eyed Girls Abracadabra. This is much different. And Brown Eyed Girls was older than all the other girl groups not all of the other girl groups. I want to say most of the other girl groups of the time. They could afford to be a little bit more mature, and this made a splash. I want to say this was fairly provocative for the time. Yes, it was. If you've ever seen the music video, it was extremely provocative for the time. They're wearing leather, they're wearing bodysuits. I see some studs. I see studs, belts. What is happening? Whatever is happening on Gayun's neck is quite something. The shirt is functional, though. I think she takes it off at one point. But even this amount of back, you couldn't do that if you were a younger girl group. It was a lot. What icons. What pure icons. Also the sparkles. Yes, the sequins and the mixing of patterns and stuff like that. Like, this is a little bit more out there than the stuff that I had seen before. When did Lollipop come out? Okay, this is 2009. This was the music video that got me into K-pop. I said I wasn't going to get into boy groups, but technically this is a boy group and a girl group. And just right off the bat, there's so much color. There's so much going on. Everyone has a different color lipstick. It's amazing. So much more makeup than Girls' Generation was wearing. Dara's dressed like a Flintstone. So this was 21's, technically it was their debut. It wasn't their singular debut single. They were styled like this because actually this is a commercial, I think for a cell phone. I think this was also done purposefully to differentiate them from other girl groups of the time, definitely. You know, we're the weird, loud, not like other girls. Also, the fact that they wear a lot of makeup is, because they were considered an ugly girl group. Look at the belt and the whatever's on the belt, these buttons, these patches. What is this hat? There's so much going on. When you're trying to entice a young teenager into a music scene, this is how you do it. Regardless, let's focus a little bit on the girls. There's no color matching. I mean, I guess you could say that Bohm's dress is like a complementary color to the blue, but then you have the yellow. What is this dress? And then these aren't even leggings. I think they're like footless socks. There's so much happening. There's so much happening. There's a white background and there's so much happening. The vest, the bodysuit, these tights, those tights. The jeans are fine. We're not going to go into the space version of Fire. The cultural appropriation count is at 1.5, 1.75, and only because I'm a little iffy about after school. Wait, does Dara have cornrows in this? It might be at 2.5. Let's talk about Fire. Obviously, 21 was supposed to be a hip-hop girl group. They definitely debuted more on pop, but their outfits were definitely supposed to be kind of hip-hop inspired, hip-hop fashion inspired. Jeremy Scott, the Jeremy Scott Adidas wing shoes. And it was all downhill from there, honestly. Dara's just a mess. Dara is truly a mess. Look at the sideways cap. Also, Dara is styled in this way, probably the most heavily skewed towards like an urban thing, and this is something that happens throughout their careers because they try and like unpretty her to make her like equal with the rest of the girls, which is just something that I don't have time to unpack, really. 21 were perhaps one of the first girl groups that I saw that like were like head to toe in brands, if that makes any difference or sense. You know, the Jeremy Scott shoes, this Versace jacket. I'm trying to like source these other things that they are wearing. There's so much happening. Yes. Look at all of these accessories. Yeah, you can see a little bit of pleather with them as well. The, what do you call them? They're pleather leggings. Was this a thing? I feel like it was a thing. And I feel like I wanted a pair of pleather leggings. As a 14-year-old, I feel like I did. What tangled webs we weave. But yes, also very different from the kind of colorful thing that they're doing with the other. But yeah, I feel like this set a tone. And so we get into 4 minutes, which I feel was the answer to 21 in a way. There's a plane going overhead. 머리부터 발끝까지 hot issue. Anyway. Yes, because I believe Fire came out in July. Hot Issue came out in August, September. Oh no. And there's just so much to say. But yes, you could definitely say that these costumes are much different in comparison to the more sleek, plainer, less heavily accessorized girl groups of the early 2009s? Of early 2009. So much jewelry. So much layering. The shirt dress over leggings was a big thing. It does remind me in a way, there is a Japanese fashion that was popular in the late 2000s, gyare or gal. And there was a specific sub-style called amekaji, or American casual. Very similar to these outfits. I'm not sure if it was because it was eye-catching. I mean, it was the colors and the amount of things that they were wearing was very compelling to me as a child, as a baby. Was that all? Was that the only reason they did this? Was it because these clothes would probably be kind of cheap to make? Not necessarily 21s, because they were wearing literal, keep wanting to say Jeffrey Campbell, Jeremy Scott Adidas. Oh, I wanted Jeremy Scott Adidas so bad when I was a kid. I wanted the panda ones. I almost got a replica of them when I was like 16. Oh my god. Bo Peep. And so Bo Peep, what I feel like was a combination of several things. The colorful, there was a little bit of schoolgirl in there. I feel like Tiara were very inspired by J-pop in that way. But I feel like they were also really inspired by like American pop. Let's see. Specifically, what is this? Lady Gaga had one of these. It was a hair bow. Lady Gaga also wore this in 2009-ish, maybe 2008. But then you get into their live performances in which they wore tails and ears and hands and school uniforms. And you know what? K-pop is wild. I can't even say that I admire their commitment, because this was 100% the work of some man. All right, so I actually was going to do 2010 in this, but it started getting long, and also there was a lot of background noise. So, like, my general wrap-up for 2009 is pleather leggings. Leggings in general with, like, the layering, you know, the 2000s layering, you know, a little bit of homemade, a little bit of DIY, especially when it came to like Brown Eyed Girls. You could tell that their costumes were like custom made. Kara, theirs were definitely custom made. Simplicity going into a little bit of flashiness, and also a little tiny bit of J-pop inspiration. We get a little bit more of that as the years go on. I feel like there was also some of that before 2009, and it was just like not popular. Probably in 2009. Not as popular, I want to say. I'm going to delete my outro. So, if you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe if you want, comment if you feel like it. Let me know what you think about 2009 K-pop fashion. It inspired me in many ways. Some of them good, but, you know, that's relative. Catch you next time. Thanks.